I'm generally not a supporter of looking into the future. It's not closed off for no reason. And in general, I think all those who predict the future are just that. Charlatans. Charlatans. Of the blue kind. Yes. The future has many options. Many options. Many options. And billions of options. It's cool because sometimes you might see something and think, oh, that means everything in my life won't work out. But that's complete nonsense. You can have a premonition, but it's just one of the possible scenarios. Okay, but when people say a person's fate is already determined, that's not true. These are karmic knots. There are karmic knots, and they are completely different for everyone. Each person can have 10, 15 of them throughout their life. They are unchangeable, but no psychic, no fortune teller, no one at all can ever see them.
Listen, actually, they speak very wisely, very wisely. Especially, after listening to this video to the end, I'm basically saying the same thing here. That is, yes, we definitely have a destiny. Yes, it is written from beginning to end. And yes, there are many possibilities. And which of these possibilities will be yours? Which one you will live depends only on you, on your position, on your actions, deeds, on your state. Well, that's how it is.
What kind of position should you have to live the life you want?
Unwavering. Look, in reality, just wanting doesn't work and never works. Well, maybe in childhood, but only sometimes. Wanting is too little. There is a state, an energetic state. And so, when you strive to realize your want and your energetic state allows you to do it, everything happens. If your energetic state is completely closed to perception, you neglect, you do not consider energetic states, then most likely nothing will work out. Because we are a trinity of psyche, physics, and energy, if at the level of the psyche you have decided I want, at the physical level you start doing something, but you completely ignore the energy from all sides as much as possible. It might not be enough. The physical and the psyche might not be enough.
All right, and what is fate? Then in your understanding?
It is the script of your life which is written at the moment of your birth. You, in fact, being a part of consciousness, immediately perceive it. I like this script. I want to watch this movie, watch this cartoon, and dive into the character. And the cartoon starts.
Can we change it?
Of course. And that is free will. These are your qualities initially. During this cartoon, you can say, IT to me. Just like you. It stopped being interesting. Switch it. Switch the canon. And you can do that. You can start another script, another movie, and it will immediately be written to the end. That's the fun part. So their reasoning, what they were saying out loud, it's really like that. I was even surprised why such people think so correctly. How do they know this? But it's true. Absolutely right. And regarding psychics, well, here, there's a nuance. Yes, you can see a person's future relative to their present. So someone comes to me, I look at them and say, well, look, in the near future, this and that, and this is how your events will unfold. He's like, damn, I feel it and I understand it this way. There were such situations.
And how do you see it? Do you feel it on an energy level or how?
Phew. To say that I see it on an energy level is a bit incorrect. It's an instant response to a request. That is, I focus on some aspect of his life. So he starts telling me, I want to go, and I already understand what will happen there. He just clicks immediately. An informational package arises in the head. Insight.
Insight, some kind.
Silent knowledge. And this person who is telling, he sees it himself. He understands it himself. You just voice it out loud to him, and he's like, well, I assume that's exactly how it would be. I say, well, you don't have to go, and everything will be completely different. Well, I want to, well, I have to, well, I need to, I have this need. I say, well, you can fulfill that need this way. And he says, actually, I can. Hop, he switched to another scenario. That's it. He allowed for a different course of events. He agreed that he wouldn't go. He agreed that this whim he would fulfill in another way. The person preserved life within himself. It's evident. But when making decisions, fateful decisions, we jump from one scenario to another. Therefore, those people who can see this, even the person themselves can approximately feel it, let alone see it or not see it. The person themselves feels where they are heading. And naturally, other people with extrasensory abilities feel this too. People who come to me and train, they then start to see this in relation to their relatives, loved ones, and they spend some colossal amount of resources to change this. And then I say, don't interfere with another's life. But that's my father. I say, don't interfere with another person's life. Your father is only here and now, at this moment in time. I say, before us is infinity, and after us is infinity. What are you trying to do there?
So how does it work then? Essentially, there is only this moment. Here, now, no.
Everything exists together once.
The future exists simultaneously, and the past and now.
Yes. And, by the way, modern physics, quantum, not quantum psychologists, but normal quantum physics, clearly sees this, that they can access both the past and the future. And how can they access something that doesn't exist? Naturally, it must exist for these shifts in time to occur. Everything exists simultaneously. That's why I say there are no past or future lives. It's all simultaneous, it's immediately inscribed in reality. It's like a computer game, for example, with 10 different endings. All these 10 endings are already inscribed in the game. The only question is which scenario you will follow to complete the game. There are games called RPGs. They have many scenarios, but they are all already written into the program code.
All right. And how do you feel about predictions? A waste of time and effort? Predictions for the future?
It has its place, but it's a waste of time and effort. That is, you just inscribe yourself even more powerfully into a certain line, not allowing yourself to deviate from it.
It can also be like self-suggestion. Here, you've been given this information, and even if it wasn't even close to happening, it will happen to you because you've already heard it.
Well, that's the placebo effect. It certainly has its place, but it happens to you because you believed in it. You do it yourself. No one is stopping you from disbelieving. Yes, there is a system of authorities. There is a system of your position, weak. There is a system of willful influences on you when you are made to believe in something you don't even want to believe in. You just somehow submissively nod your head, and it starts happening to you. I had an acquaintance, and she is still my acquaintance. It's just that a lot of time has passed since we started moving in different directions, who used to read tarot cards. She read them very accurately. But she also improved herself. She grew in her skills. At some point, she realized that when she reads for someone, she deprives them of the opportunity to follow other scenarios. Simply deprives, cuts off those.
So it's like making the choice for them.
Well, I can't say that it's a choice. After all, it was the person's choice to come to her. But by coming to her, that person was deprived of other scenarios. Because her energy, her field is so strong, it immediately. I was writing in this scenario, which was shown through the tarot card, and there you see, there's such a mechanism, it's very complex to explain. A person has many scenarios. They come to you in a certain state. This state at the moment determines their scenario, their future scenario. It determines everything to the end. And if you fix a person in this state, you know, like with strong ones, like this. That's it. And they can no longer escape from this state. They can't get out of it. I started to see this when an endless stream of people came to me with requests. Oh, diagnose me. Diagnose me. I said, yes, easily, of course, please. Let's line up. And I start diagnosing. And then when I practice with this person, they don't practice, and that's it. So a person comes to me, sits down. Oh, Anton, diagnose me. I say, well, let's see. I looked at their field, explained. Yes. All right, excellent. I say, well, let's get to work. We start working. And those things I mentioned, they don't move here, they don't work here. They don't move and don't work. I say, yes, relax, let yourself go. But the person, there they are with this internal tension. They can't let themselves go. And I had to spend some more time, sometimes up to an hour, for the person to finally let themselves go and come out from under this diagnostic influence. Therefore, after a relatively short period of time, I stopped doing it that way. A person comes and says, Anton, diagnose me. I say, let's diagnose you together. Let's diagnose together. I say, great. We take, for example, the first center. Here the person sits, the first center. I say, let's go. What do you feel? I don't feel anything. I say, great. Let's move to the second center. What do you feel? Well, there's something there, like this and that, and so on. I say, wonderful. Let's go back to the first center and take a look. Oh, and the first one is also starting to do something. I say, great. Come on. Let go. And it loosens, relaxes, and all the energies start to flow out, blossoming. And the person sits there content. Everything is fine. If I had told him your first center is a mess, but the second one is more or less okay, he would have left me like that. And it would have been very difficult for him to get out of that state. Therefore, diagnosis has its place, but it always reflects the current state of the person. And the more rigid and skilled the diagnostician, the more rigidly they fix the person in that state, not allowing for the possibility of a different scenario development. I would stop doing that.
Okay, then there's a question. What about in the case of world predictions by famous personalities, for example, Vanga, who spoke in prison, about predictions that await us? So this also fixed the state of all of us.
You know, when you diagnose some large-scale events, their probability is higher because mass changes in people's consciousness are very rare. Events, and therefore, the more large-scale events you predict, the more accurately you hit the mark. You go. There is much less chance that humanity will suddenly take a different path. That's it. So this is...
And why is there less chance?
Why is there less chance? Because of the crowd. Because of the herd. And the herd is unconscious. In a crowd, a person functions differently. Therefore, when humanity is diagnosed, perhaps it can all be changed by a small number of righteous people. This, by the way, is described in the Bible. When talk to God, oh my God, the name of the person who spoke to him flew out of his head. Abraham, maybe. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. Well, anyway, there was an episode about Sodom and Gomorrah when a believer, I don't remember, his name asked God, would you destroy this city with all its inhabitants? Surely not everyone there was a scoundrel, a libertine. There must have been at least someone. To which God replies that if there had been anyone, I would have spared the entire city. And this dialogue begins where, like, if there were 100 righteous people there, would you spare them? God says, yes, I would not touch them. And then 50, well, in general, they reach the point to which God responds. Yes, if there were 10 righteous people there, I would not touch the city. So, on one hand, it's a story, yes, and on the other hand, a reflection of reality. That is, if in this overall trend of society, a certain number of people emerge who are capable, you know, like a support on a falling fence, to stand and prevent this fence from falling, then a change in the scenario is possible, and such processes have already taken place in our history. But they are very rare, and sometimes the people who are capable of doing this very rarely do it. They are more likely to just find themselves another place on our planet where they don't have to do this, where everything is already fine.
Would you yourself like to take a look into your future? I mean, from the point of view.
I constantly look into my future.
Well, yes, you can do that just in normal mode, so to speak.
Yes, and every time I look in there, I edit it because I don't like what I see there. It really motivates me not to do what slows me down and to do what speeds me up.
So essentially, by developing oneself, everyone, a person can use such a tool, so to speak, right? Do I understand correctly?
It's not even a tool. It's the ability to perceive. You see, the thing is, if we approach it from the position of I can change my future, we're heading in the wrong direction right away. I can see which scenario I'm moving along and say, no, I don't like this scenario. I need to transform myself. Quickly and sharply to jump to the scenario that I like And I start moving along the scenario that suits me, which leads me to the realization of my intention. But if I start to dull, act foolishly, and engage in nonsense, I jump off this scenario. And at some point, I might realize that I'm following a scenario that leads me to the grave. I'm like, whoa, 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 quietly, what's going on? And again, I return from the state, I return from the intensity of energy, the configuration of consciousness, I awaken the Shakti vortices again, which for some reason might fall asleep. Well, there were transitional processes. Now I'm in a slightly different state, but I'm explaining how it all happened. And I return again to the scenario that leads me to the realization of intention. Yes, it is already different. It already has nuances because from the previous scenario that was leading me to the realization of intention, I fell off. But several scenarios lead to it. It's not just one, there are many. And every time I review this scenario, I clearly realize whether I am moving in the right direction or not. This doesn't mean that I can't fall off it. I can fall off unconsciously. It's quite simple to act foolishly for a while, and that's it.
All right. And the déjà vu effect, for example, can it be related to some kind of vision of the future? Yes.
It can be related to the perception of the future. It can be related to the perception of the future. What does the future mean? That is the script for your own. You preview it in advance, forget that you previewed it, and when you live through it, you're like, wow, as if it all already happened. Yes, no, you just, at some point in time, previewed this script and edited it. These can be informational impulses from parallel worlds where something happened there. Is the same in multidimensionality, the same sequence of events. And you might get the feeling that you've already experienced it, as if it already happened. In reality, it did happen, but in a parallel world. There are nuances, there are peculiarities. This does take place. But the explanation is ambiguous. There are different causalities. In the end, I remembered there were moments in my life when I had a dream. I remembered this dream, and it was exactly the same with me. The next day, this scenario would happen. So it wasn't a dream. It was once again reading some part of this line of fate, line of time. But I perceived it as a dream. And sometimes you just sit, and then it comes like an epiphany, and you're like, wow. And it starts to manifest. And you watch with amusement thinking, wow, I already knew this 10 minutes ago. And you just sit and enjoy the fact that, well, that you can, it's pleasant. So there are different effects, but it does happen.
Can a person who practices achieve this?
A person who practices won't be able to avoid it. It will become the norm for them, something taken for granted. You just need to practice, not just listen and agree. Just listening and agreeing is not enough. There are all sorts of events. There are all sorts of open events, closed events, paid, free, all sorts. There is an opportunity for everyone to embark on this path. I try to balance my time among all these opportunities. Those who have known me for some time won't let me lie. I have events that are completely open to everyone, where I demonstrate practices. I have events that cost some money, where I demonstrate practices. I have courses that cost some money, and there are exactly the same practices. And there are my performances, where I talk about all the same things, and it's completely free.
There is a lot of information actually available for free, so it depends on the person's choice.
Yes, well, I say I distribute my resources, my strength, my time, more or less, equally among all these ways of expression. So far, everything is good.
Thank you, Anton, for the answers. We will leave a link to the courses in the description under the video. Also, write your questions and impressions. Perhaps we will answer them in the next video.
Do you want to unlock your inner strength and learn to manage energy? The course, Power of Consciousness 1. Practical energy will provide you with tools to improve health, develop intuition, and gain a deeper understanding of the world. Join and start changing your life right now. Link in the description.